As a parent or as a teacher, do you sometimes think that using paint or watercolor can be quite a hassle or quite messy to use? Minsan ba iniisip nyo na makalat siya or mahirap gamitin? In this video, I'll show you how I teach my students to prepare their workspace, how to mix and dilute their paints, and how to keep their paintbrushes clean. Dito sa video na to, ituturo ko kung paano ko tinuturo maghanda ng paint area, paano maghalo ng kulay, at paano panatilihin malinis ang mga paintbrushes.
For this activity, we will use a water-based paint, watercolor or poster paints. Water-based paints are good for beginners because they're usually non-toxic and uses water for washing. You can use a watercolor cake or a watercolor in tubes. You can also use poster paints or tempera paints diluted in water. Soften the cake by adding few drops of water using a dropper. Dip only the tip of the brush. Tip, tip, tip. Spread it on the palette before using it to make sure you get the desired saturation. I recommend using watercolor cake sets because these are more convenient than using watercolor in tubes or bottles. When buying a watercolor cake set, make sure the plates are at least 1 inch in diameter so that there's ample space for the brush. If it's too small like this, it would be more difficult to get paint. Also, avoid this kind of small plastic brushes because these won't absorb paint and would prevent you from enjoying the process. Aside from using a thin paintbrush, you can use the back of a spoon or a folded cardboard to scoop paint from the bottle or poster paint. Then, put it on the mixing plate. Put droplets of water, then mix. Put paint with similar colors together on the mixing plate. There are several types of paint brushes. For our activity, I recommend using a medium-sized Chinese or sable brush. These are good for holding water and are soft enough not to damage the paper. Chinese brushes are cheap and are ideal for beginners. I recommend having a medium to large size brush for painting big areas and a fine one for making small details. Sable brushes can be very expensive and is a good investment for professional artists. Nylon brushes and oil paint brushes like these have hard bristles. These won't hold enough water and can easily damage the paper. These are usually used for acrylic and oil painting. Having clean water all throughout the painting process can maximize your time, quality, and efficiency. You can do this by using at least 2 different water containers. One for the dirty wash or first wash, another for the second wash for watering down the paint. This ensures clean water and clean brush all the time, especially when using light-colored pigments. If you use a brush from dirty water, the resulting pigment will look muddy and dark. You can also use the dropper when diluting paint. This way, you can get ample amounts of water without contaminating your brush. This prevents wasting of pigment because you don't need to dip the brush that you're already using to get water. Having at least 2 water containers for washing is a must, so you don't have to replace the water every time.
You can check out my website for a free watercolor online course.